Hello, and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff, and today, got my Lego mug, and I'm ready to answer some really important, pressing questions to somebody. I'm sure someone has been waiting and sitting there month after month. I'm sure they haven't looked elsewhere at all by now, and are waiting for me to get to the question. Right? That's how the real world works. First question, how did you start getting gear sent to you to demo? Did you initially just email a company directly? Yes, actually, I would tweet at them. I had massive demo success on Twitter of all things. But what I would do, I had two trains of thought at the time. Now, mind you, the world has changed significantly since 2011 or 10, whenever I started the YouTube channel. But what I would do, there was two trains of thought. Either go for the small guys who don't have any sort of budget to have demos made and offer to do the demo completely for free. And all they would have to do is pay shipping to me and from my house. Just give me a return label. That's all. And I will make a high quality video and I will pimp it. And I just need stuff. I need content for my channel. And more often than not, the smaller companies would do it. My other train of thought was to find these huge companies that have, I mean, way, just massive budgets for marketing and demos. For example, Line 6, I would tweet at Line 6 and basically I would talk smack on the demos that they were posting, because at that time, the demos that they were posting of other people playing their stuff were terrible. And I would say, well, I could do way better than that if I had one of those. I mean, you should send me one, just saying. Like, totally cocky, totally just full ham status, and it would sometimes work. Nowadays, like being a rep for a company and having been a rep for several companies, that would never get me to send anything to anyone with that attitude. But the first way, I would cordially email them, I would contact them, I'd find a contact on their website, and I would spend all day looking for contacts from their websites, or I would Google, Line 6 marketing director or Line 6 inquiries or artist relations, and I would just hit them all up, and I would send the same email tailored to that specific department to get them to send me stuff. And here we are today. I'm not telling you that's what you should do now, because I get asked to demo stuff now. It's kind of the other way around, but when I was pounding the pavement when I was a young man, that's what I would do. I would just spend all day trying to contact companies. And I would be very, very nice. I would be the nicest person on the planet via email on purpose. And if they said no, then I would leave them alone. I would never bug them. But yeah, that's how I did it. Fluff. Thoughts on mixing in mono? Checking your mixes in mono is definitely a thing. And it's an important thing, because more often than not, we're always on the go. And a lot of times, even though they'll say they're stereo or something like that, a lot of cell phones, a lot of people that listen to stuff and watch YouTube videos, they watch them on their cell phones, and those speakers are always in mono. So it's really, really important to check your mixes on a mono source. Now, I use a PreSonus Central Station monitor controller, and it has a mono switch, and I can sum everything to mono with just a switch. Years ago, I used a Behringer Mono Cube, and that was a simple mono speaker that sounded horrible on purpose. And I used to use that to check my mixes and like where my snare was in the mix, for example. You can also use it to check delays and like, if you're using an imager, any kind of imaging, electronic music, or with a lead guitar or something like that, you can definitely use a mono mix checking system to kind of verify where you think you're at. I definitely wouldn't ever mix like just on mono or something like that, although keep in mind, back in the day, everything was mono, so it's good. It's a good tool. Mixing in mono and checking your stuff in mono is definitely a good tool, and you should definitely be doing it if you are not already. Every FAQ Monday, you flay your coffee everywhere while you're talking. How do you not spill your coffee? That's a good question. Sometimes I get really, really close. Other times, you know what? I don't even notice that I'm doing it until after I'm like editing the episode. The one where I had, the original one where I had the first appearance of the toilet mug. I had no idea I was getting that close to spilling it until I was editing the video, and I was like, oh wow, I should watch that. I wasn't even conscious of it. I was just talking and flapping my gums. But now I'm a little bit more conscious of it. I don't flail around that much, but it really depends on the mug. Now this mug is pretty robust and it's deep, and I don't have it filled quite so high as I used to. I used to just top the mug off and then come up here and film 3 episodes and get all jacked up on coffee. I don't really do that anymore. I fill it like halfway just because of that. And I don't think a camera has caught me spilling coffee yet, but you know, the year's not out yet. Your recent FAQ Mondays vid looked like you had a different keyboard than the Apple, or a similar one? What you got, bud? Yes, I did get a new keyboard, you eagle-eyed viewer, you. I got a Logitech K750 solar-powered guy. My other Apple keyboard kind of wore out, and it was the second one, and I was super sick of being right in the middle of something and getting that little display saying your batteries are low. So I did some research and I went and tried a few, and I came up with the K750. The only thing I don't like about it is that it requires a USB slot and it requires a dongle, and it didn't work with my USB hub because it required too much juice, so that there was a delay in typing. I hooked it up directly to the back of my iMac and it works fantastical. And that's a word, yes, fantastical. I love it. And it's been a wonderful keyboard. It feels very good. The tactile sensation is good, and it sounds great as well. And now, the dad joke of the week. What does a clock do when it's hungry? It goes back 4 seconds. It goes back for seconds. My suggestion to you this week is to check out this awesome episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast with Henry Rollins. I'm a huge Henry Rollins fan. I back almost everything he is about. Fan of his books, fan of his music. I've seen him in spoken word, and this episode is just a great it's a great meal for your brain. Henry talks about all sorts of his worldly experiences. I had no idea he travels as much as he does, and he just seems like an incredibly humble guy, especially after watching this episode. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.